Well, hello there. I can't believe it's September already. Some of you are really excited because it's back to school time, and some of you not so much. My kids are in their 20s now, but I think what we all have in common as parents is that it just doesn't matter what we do, we always feel like we're just not doing a good job. We have our moments, but then we have our moments where we're like, oh, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. And these kids, they don't come with a manual, and that's my little puppy on the side there, just having a little, he's, he's wanting to get into the picture here. We always feel inadequate. When my youngest son was about 4 years old, we were at my mom and dad's, and he decided that it was time he wanted to go home. And he was sitting playing on the carpet, being, doing what kids do. And I just had wanted to, one of my aunts was there, I hadn't seen her in a while, I really wanted to say hello, so I snuck in to say hello to her. And of course then my 4-year-old decided that was it, he had had enough and he wanted to walk home. Snuck over, put his shoes on, and went out the front door. The most terrifying day of my life. But everything was fine, not to worry about it. But, crazy. Things happen. Our kids do things. That's obviously a really big one, but things happen, and there's no manual for it. We don't know what to do. And we're always just feeling like, how do we handle this? What do we do? So today, I thought that, I would share a few little tips for how we can be with our kids, things that we can do, just general, that will guarantee that we're good parents, regardless. I know that you're a good parent because you're here right now listening to this, so we all want the same things for our kids too, right? We just want to have a good relationship with them. We want them to be healthy, happy, connected, loving kids, and to grow up into these amazing adults. But here are some things that we can do. So before I get into that, my name is Nancy, and those of you who know me, I'm a relationship and stress coach. I created my Living in Yes program for women like me, using the same strategies that I use to overcome my own, stressors in my life, lack of confidence, and different relationship challenges. So I help women who feel stuck in some sort of challenging relationship, whether it's with a partner or a child or an in-law or a coworker, family, friend, whatever, just to become more clear about what is causing that stickiness, and to be able to work through those issues so that you can come out on the other end with more joy and fun and laughter and connection in your relationships. So let's get right into it. I actually want to do 5 ways to be. So you can be loving. Number 1, be loving. I've never ever in my entire life heard of a child who was loved too much. Tell them often, give them lots of hugs. There's a ton of research on just the power of touch, the hug, what that can do, all the feel-good chemicals that it can release in your brain, the serotonin, the dopamine, the oxytocin, and in your child's brain, and really form that connection between you. So, never worry about that, because that's always a good thing. Try and find ways to show them you love them. Movie nights, spending quality time with them, whatever that is. But don't confuse being loving, love with things, because things are not love. And of course, we always want to give as much as we can to our kids, but they need us more than anything. So be loving. Be involved. Number 2, but not too involved. So this is kind of a balanced one, right? Because being involved is hard. It actually takes a lot of scheduling, a lot of, sometimes listening to things that you're not really that interested in. I'm not a huge fan of video games, but my kids like them, so I talk to them about their video games. Because, it's of interest to them, and it's a way that we can connect. So that's a good thing. Talk to them about their classes, their friends. If they're out working, if they're older, they're out in the working world, find out about that. Whatever they're willing to talk to you about. Again, to have those movie nights, have family dinners, whatever that is that's going to get you connected with them. And remember to give them the space to talk to you, because they're not always going to talk when you want them to talk. Sometimes it's just, and I know I've used this example before, but one of the biggest ones for us was on the way to a hockey game or a baseball game or whatever, when you're just in the car and you're listening to the radio and they're going to start saying whatever they want to say. They just need their own space and their own time to get out and start talking. So that's a good one. And be a rule setter. So be involved, be loving, be a rule setter. Because our kids actually need rules. They need boundaries. They need something around them that helps them test out, what's okay, what's not okay, where are my limits, how am I going to figure out my moral compass. This helps them develop healthy habits and social skills, gets them ready for the real world, which is really important. So, setting the rules, but again, being flexible too, because, as parents, it's hard enough to be a parent, but, you want to be able to have the boundaries set up, but choose your battles, because, you don't want to make things harder for yourself. And make sure you're consistent. This one is so, so, so important. So from parent to parents with those rules, make sure you're on the same page. Make sure everyone's giving the same message. And from day to day, of course, things are going to happen. You're not always going to be perfect. But as best you can, be consistent with your child. When they're getting a consistent message, it's so much less confusing for them. And it's much easier for them to work out, all of these things that we're trying to help them with. Be a good role model. So we've got be loving, be involved, be a rule setter, and now be a good role model. So are you walking your talk? Are you doing, there's that saying, do as I say, not as I do? That never works. So are you actually practicing what you're preaching to your kids? How are you? Look at how you treat other people. Look at how you treat yourself. I think that's really, really important. How do you treat yourself? Are you loving towards yourself? Are you feeding yourself well? Are you, look at your nutrition, your exercise, your spirituality, your work ethic. What's important to you? What are your important values? Are you practicing those important values? And, that's how our kids are going to learn, because they, monkey see, monkey do. And that's what's going to happen. And I'll tell you, it doesn't always happen immediately, but as long as you're consistent, follow that other rule with yourself on how you're modeling. As long as you're consistent, eventually it will come back. I hear my kids, they're in their 20s, I hear them today say things that I had been saying all the years, thinking they were never listening, and now I'm like, wow, they were really listening. This is good. So it's really important to just, stay your course. And finally, be kind to yourself. I actually talked about this one in the previous section, and I just think it's so important. Please do this one now. If you don't do anything else, start being kind to yourself, because when you're kind to yourself, you'll start being kind to the people around you too. I think this is the hardest one. At the end of the day, we're gonna make mistakes. They didn't come with a manual. There's just no way around that. We can't be perfect. We're human. And the important thing is, when we make those mistakes, how are we repairing those relationships with our kids? And that we keep trying. And that, we don't have to be perfect parents, but that doesn't mean that we don't have to try to do things the best we can. So just the fact that we're trying our best is really important. And, stop comparing yourself to other people on social media or anywhere, because what you see is only a small portion of what is really going on. Of course, that, but it's really hard. You know it in your head, but it's hard to really get that into your whole being. but it is so, so true. So be kind to yourself. Be loving, be a rule setter, be involved, be a good role model, and be kind to yourself. Successful parenting is not about achieving perfection, but here I have a quote for you that I really like. So, have you ever had a job where you had no experience, no training, you weren't allowed to quit, and people's lives were at stake? Well, that's parenting. And I don't know who said that, but I think it's amazing. And that's the experience that we're all going through right now. And it doesn't matter whether they're, before they're even born, all the way up to, whatever age, it doesn't matter. We're still their parents, and we're doing the best we can and learning as we go along. So I hope that was helpful to you. I would love for you to join me over at Living in Yes. Download your freebies below this video. Share this video, and if you'd like to connect, if this is an interesting topic for you that you'd like some more resources on, let's connect at www.nancybrooker.ca. All right, that's it for me this week. Talk to you soon. Bye now.